Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Nouvelle Hungry Burger Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Age of Overlord. We have some new support for one of the decks that came out from the Wild Survivors booster set, along with getting new support for Vanquished Souls and also Dinosaurs in the set. We also have support for the Restaurant Nouvelle deck, or the Hungry Burger deck that a lot of people call it. This deck focuses on being able to ritual summon out a good amount of the different Nouvelle monsters, also gaining additional abilities if you use one of those specific monsters to summon out Hungry Burger. And the new Pendulum monster that we received, Poissonnière de Nouvelle, allows us to also make use of a fusion Pendulum monster from our extra deck, being the Patisserie monster, as a card to work very well with the Pendulum card, and also our new spell we received in the booster set as well. Very happy with this deck. It's a very fun deck that we got from Wild Survivors, and just something I think that people wanted for a long while. So let's go ahead and get started with the update. So we'll go ahead and start off with the Ritual Monsters. For the actual Ritual Monsters, I run 2 copies of Overlord de Nouvelle. You can Ritual Summon this card with a Recipe card. If this card is Special Summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Then if this card is Special Summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle monster, you can tribute as many monsters your opponent control as possible. Quick effect, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls, tribute it, and if you do, Special Summon 1 Hungry Burger from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect of Overlord de Nouvelle once per turn. So this is the card that utilizes the Hungry Burger in the deck as well. We also have a trap that makes use of being able to tribute our opponent's monsters while we summon out our Hungry Burger for this card's banished cost. So along with the 2 Overlord de Nouvelle, we are also running the 1 copy of Hungry Burger. This card is just the oldest card in the deck, being able to just summon it out with our Nouvelle monster, and then also being able to have that tribute effect and give us access to another level 6 monster. So if we wanted some recycle power for some of our other cards in the deck, we can use it for some extra deck plays as well, which I'll mention at the end of the video. And I also run 2 copies of Conférence de Nouvelle. With this card, you can Ritual Summon it with a Recipe card, just like you can with all the other Nouvelle Ritual Monsters. If it's Special Summon, you can target a spell or trap on the field, destroy it when a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when it's targeted for an attack. You can tribute this card and 1 attack position monster on either field. Special Summon 1 level 3 or 4 Nouvelle Ritual Monster from your hand or deck. So then you just have increasing levels with all the different Nouvelle monsters that we run as well. Since if you didn't notice, all the Nouvelle monsters also increase in level. So you go all the way up from a 1-star to a 6-star, I guess, depending on the actual, stars for a restaurant as well, with our 1-star being Burel Base de Nouvelle. You can Ritual Summon this card with a Recipe card, once again, and when it's Special Summoned, it doesn't have to be Ritual Summoned, because remember, you can Special Summon these cards off of the other Nouvelle monsters. You can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck and add 1 excavated Nouvelle card to your hand and shuffle the rest of the deck. So more search power, thanks to this card as well. Being able to tribute this card and 1 attack position monster on either field to Special Summon 1 level 2 or 3 Nouvelle monster from your hand or deck. And the other ones we run are the 1 Poultice de Nouvelle, the 1 Foy Glacia de Nouvelle, and the 1 Balaminier de Nouvelle, as well as the level 3, 4, and 5 monsters, all having the additional tribute option, being able to shuffle cards back into the deck, add a Nouvelle Recipe card, or draw, depending on which one you summon out. But all the different levels also just can go in to one another, almost like you're eating a dish at one restaurant and going into each dish better and better. For the new cards from Age of Overlord, I have 1 spot because I only have the 2 Poissonnière de Nouvelle, but I do want to run 3 of this card in the deck. For its Pendulum Scale card effect, if you control a Ritual Monster, you can target 1 monster on the field, Special Summon this card, then change that monster's battle position. You can only use this effect of Poissonnière de Nouvelle once per turn, and if it's normal or Special Summon, you can activate 1 of these effects. You can add 1 level 1 Ritual or Recipe card from your deck to your hand. So then just being able to add the Ritual Monster or the Recipe card is a great search as well. Or you can banish any number of Recipe cards from your graveyard and Special Summon 1 Nouvelle Ritual Monster from your hand with a level equal to the number banished. So depending on just what you banish for the Recipe cards in your graveyard as well, make it all the better for a Special Summon of 1 of your other Ritual Monsters. Just being able to get out 1 of your level 1 means you can even just have an additional search thanks to this card, and then additional tribute plays to go into some of the higher level ones. And I also run 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. Now this should be Diviner of Herald. If you don't have this card, you can run Manju of the 10,000 Hands. That's why I have it here. It's a more budget affordable card for the Nouvelle deck, just being able to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell, which we're running a wide variety of in the deck. But if you have Diviner of Herald, I have the extra deck constructed to be able to use with Diviner of Herald, having the Herald of the Arclights and also some of the other fusion targets like the Elder Entities to send to the graveyard for this spot, being that it should be Diviner of Herald. If not, you can run 3 Manju. As I said, it's just another searcher. You just have an additional search and set up as being able to turn Diviner of Herald into a level 6 monster to then use for your tribute for your Nouvelle monsters. And also for the other main deck monsters, 2 copies of Incantation Talismandra and 2 copies of Incantation Candle. Search power for the ritual spells and ritual monsters when you special summon these cards out, and then being able to special summon a respected other incantation monster onto the field. I'm not running any of the Pencil Plume or the Candle, not Candle, Candle's right here, or the Book, just because you want to make use of the graveyard plays for the add back, more with the banish that you'll do with some of your other cards in the deck, including Prisonnier de Nouvelle for this card's banish play, or even just the search back power you can use with some of your other Nouvelle cards, with the last of the main deck monsters being 3 copies of Cyber Angel Benton. Just when it's tributed, you can add 1 light fairy monster from your deck to your hand, so it's a searcher for our Manju of the 10,000 Hands, or you can even add another Benton just to give you more of a tribute cost for your cards in the deck, being able to add more and more cards from your deck to your hand depending on what you tributed from your hand for your ritual plays. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells, running 3 copies of the new Concours de Cuisine, or Culinary Confrontation. You choose 1 Nouvelle Pendulum monster and 1 Petitiel Pendulum monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck. Special summon both monsters, 1 to each field. Also this turn, you cannot use monsters as material for Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link summon, except for Nouvelles and Petitiel monsters. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. It gains 200 attack for each recipe card in the graveyard. You can only use each effect of your Concours de Cuisine, or Culinary Confrontation, once per turn. So this card helps to set up a monster by being able to summon out your Poissonnière de Nouvelle to your side of the field, giving you the search that this card provides, while then giving your opponent the Petitiel Coverture. So then you also give your opponent, if you went first against them, a monster that you contribute for your Nouvelle monsters, since most of the time they won't have a monster on their field ready to use. So then you have the option for this card as the summon off of your Concours de Cuisine. And I also run 3 copies of Voici la Carte, or Today's Menu. This card is another searcher, revealing 2 Nouvelle monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and then you shuffle the other cards into the deck. You can add 1 of the cards from your deck to your hand based on the monster type added by this effect. If it's a Beast Warrior, you can add Recette de Poison, or the Fish Recipe, or the Warrior Recette de Viande, or the Meat Recipe. So more search for the ritual spells as well, thanks to this card, making it a definite 3 of just to add the specific one we need, depending on the monster we searched also. And then also 3 of the field spell being Nouvelle Restaurant at Table. When this card is activated, you can add 1 recipe card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, you can place 1 ritual monster from your hand on the bottom of the deck to draw 1 card. And once per turn during your end phase, you can target 2 cards in your graveyard, including a recipe card, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and draw 1 card. You can only activate 1 Nouvelle Restaurant at Table per turn. But another reason why I don't like to run the Pencil Plume or the Bookstone for the other incantation is just because you have more recycle power in the form of draw power thanks to your Nouvelle Restaurant. And I also run the 2 copies of Recette de Viande, the Meat Recipe, and the 1 copy of Recette de Poison, which you can increase the numbers of this card if you wanted to take out the Cyber Angel Bentons and just rely on the actual Nouvelle and Incantation monsters. You can take these out, running 2 additional Recette de Poison and 1 additional Recette de Viande for these cards, adding in full 3 of counts for all these cards to also increase the numbered odds of the different recipe cards you'd have in the graveyard to use. And also the 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, just more search power for any of the ritual monsters that we run in the deck, with the last spell being 1 Call by the Grave, just to be able to stop any of your opponent's plays that they may try to do when it comes to special summoning out your Nouvelle monsters. And for the traps, I run the 1 copy of Chef's Special Recipe and the 1 copy of Recette de Personnel, or Staff Recipe, being able to have the tribute option of your opponent's monsters with Chef's Special Recipe. And when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Nouvelle Ritual monster, negate the activation, and destroy that card. If you control a monster that was special summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle monster, and if you special summon Hungry Monster or Hungry Burger, you can banish this card from your graveyard to tribute as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Just getting rid of your opponent's monsters through a tribute makes it all the better as well, because then it's not really destroying them by card effect, and just tributing them gets around some other monsters that are nonetheless unaffected by card effects on the field, since it's a tribute to begin with. And then having the option for special summoning a Nouvelle token to make use of with the staff recipe as a great option also. And both of these cards have recipe in their name, so then you also have more cards in the graveyard to build up for some of the other recipe numbers. And then for the extra deck, we will go through all the different types of cards. I do want to run 2 Peticiel Coverture. I sadly only had the 1, but if you were to run a second copy, I have the 1 Garura Wings of Resonant Life as a spot holder, because it could be a potential target for the Diviner of the Herald if you were to run them instead of the Manju to send for a draw off of this card. But it should be a second Peticiel Coverture, just so you have more than 1 usable quick play spells to summon cards out to the field. Also, the 1 copy of Elder Entity and the 1 copy of Herald of the Arclight. More search and destruction power when you use the Diviner of Herald play as well in the deck, with our only Xyz being the 1 Constellar Ptolemy M7, so you can overlay your level 6 monsters into this monster, and then have more recycle power for your other monsters, being able to add back your own cards from the graveyard, or even just be able to go for your opponent's cards they may have on the field. With the other monsters being our Link lineup, so the 1 copy of Dynamondo, the 1 copy of Lena the Light Charmer, the 1 Dark the Dark Charmer, the 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, the 1 IP Masquerena, and the 1 Sky Striker Ace Azalea for the light and dark play we can go into for another card to destroy cards on the field. And then also the 1 Underclock Taker, the 1 Link Karibo, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos to finish off the extra deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, our new quick play spell is definitely a great help in the deck. Just being able to activate this card and choose 1 Nouvelle Pendulum monster and 1 Peticiel monster from our extra deck to summon on the field means that we will once again give our opponent the Peticiel Coverture, and then you will summon out the Poissonnière de Nouvelle to your field. And then when it's special summon, you can activate 1 of the effects. So if this is your first initial play, you'll just want to add a ritual monster or a recipe card from your deck to your hand. So then you'll have the search for your specific Nouvelle monster that you needed for the play. You can add your level 1 starter, which is your Burrell Base de Nouvelle, off of this card, giving your opponent the monster that you needed for the tribute of their own card, thanks to this card. And then also you, the level 1 monster for the tribute for your Nouvelle monster for that summon as well. You have the banish play to special summon any Nouvelle monsters as well for the play. And if this card on the field is tributed and added to the extra face up, you can place it in the Pendulum Zone, giving you access then to the Pendulum Scale ability, which you'll need just as another additional searcher, because then you will be able to activate your specific Nouvelle Ritual to tribute monsters from your hand or field who equal out the level of that monster. So depending on what you use for the tribute play, you can then tribute out your Poissonnière de Nouvelle, setting it in the Pendulum Scale, summoning out your Burrell Base de Nouvelle, being able to then, with this card, activate the top 5 cards of your deck, searching out a particular Nouvelle card that you may reveal off of this card to begin with also. And then also when a card effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when it's targeted for an attack, you have the tribute play using the monster that you once again provided to your opponent for that potential tribute as well. And if it's destroyed, even, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. So that's another fun play as well, because if this card is destroyed, it will go to your own extra deck and activate, being able to then set the Peticiel Coverture in your under Pendulum Scale, setting up a scale for you to fully use with any of your monsters as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely happy with the new support we got for the Nouvelle or Hungry Burger deck, and I hope you all enjoy building it as well. But as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.